Security number into your brain. It is your credit. It's a mark of the beast. It's in your forehead and it's in your hand. Understand that. And now you can walk in Walmart. If you've been vaccinated, you emit a Bluetooth signal. I have an app on my phone. It's called a BLE reader, and I can tell if anybody in this room has had the jab because you're putting out a Bluetooth signal. And I can pull up every Bluetooth signal, and I can ping it, and it will pull up all your phones, and it will say, you have a Samsung phone, model number blah, 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 blah. You have an Apple iPhone, model number blah, blah, blah. It'll pull up the Samsung TVs in the room or whatever. It'll pull up every Bluetooth signal everywhere around me for about 300 feet, and it'll tell me the reception, by the reception, how far away it is. I can walk into a restaurant and know how many people in the restaurant have been jabbed. I can walk onto an airplane and read all the Bluetooth signals. I'll know every cell phone that you have in your pocket, every computer or iPad that you've got up. I'll know if you have one of those health watches. I'll know everything you have, and if it says unknown and I ping it, and it just comes up with a digit code, I know it's you. If your distance is close, and I can walk up by you, and I can go like this, and I can walk past here, and, oh, it's you. You've been vaccinated, haven't you? No, I'm not doing it right now. But I can do that. And they're putting these big light posts up all over the place with round circular lights. They're a little bit blue and purple. And they're putting them all down the highways, and they're all down the Interstate 20 and Interstate 30 all the way through Louisiana from Dallas. And they're putting these up all over the cities and everything. Every one of them will read everybody who's been vaccinated and every jab. And by the number, they know who you are, where you're going, what you're doing, how you're, and you have that mark of the beast inside you, and now they're reading. They don't even need your Social Security number and your PIN anymore. And you could walk by Walmart, go to the scanner and go, and it'll read the Bluetooth signal in your body and pay for it. You guys have no idea how this is going in a very, very, very near future. Go to 42.10 on Amazon's terms and conditions, and it's going to scare the heck out of you. And it's not just Amazon. It's all your social media sites. It's all over everything. Big corporations are putting the same wording because it comes from the CDC. They're putting the same wording on their disclosures, their terms and conditions. The banks are starting to do it. The big labor unions are starting to do it. It is everywhere. And tell me when the first person in the room has looked it up. Seriously. 42.10 on Amazon's terms and conditions. Just look it up because it's easy to find. You got it? Come here, please. I love you, brother. We could have scrolled to it. Still 11 point something. Hold on. I mean 20 point something. 29. 32. We're getting closer. Did I get it wrong? Hold on a minute. I might have got it a little bit wrong. Is it 40 point? Can I do a search? Anybody else know where to find it really quick, what I'm talking about? I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about.
42. Is it 42.1? They made changes.
No. It has to do with something, I don't even want to say the word right now. I want to read it to you. Is it 5710? I thought it was 42. I literally printed it out to bring with me, and I didn't. Huh?
42 mentioned your crest.
Yeah, no, that's not it. Is it 5710? Okay, yes, thank you. Hold on. 50, I'm scrolling. I'm getting there. We're getting close. 5710. You know, when I first looked it up, it was 42.10. So they keep doing stuff. 7. Yeah, this one doesn't have a 5710. It's 4210, isn't it? Yeah. Yes. Thank you, sweetheart. Let me read it. Okay. Yes, they have been training our U.S. military. The CDC's got it on their website. They've been training our U.S. military on the upcoming zombie pandemic. And I have pictures of training classes of military personnel with the posters from the CDC on the tables, with the CDC logos on it. Okay. Acceptable use during safety critical systems. Your use of the lumberyard materials must comply. Lumberyard is, you'll have to read about lumberyard, and there's lumberyard materials, okay? Yeah, a little bit. Must comply with the AWS acceptable use policy. The lumberyard materials are not intended for use with life-critical or safety-critical systems, such as in use and operational of many medical equipment, automated transportation systems, autonomous vehicles, aircraft or air traffic control, nuclear facilities, manned spacecraft, or military use in connection with live combat. This is what they're talking about. This restriction will not apply in the event of this occurrence. Certified by the United States Centers for Disease Control of a widespread viral infection transmitted via bites or contact with bodily fluids that cause human corpses to reanimate and seek to consume living human flesh, blood, brain, or nerve tissue, and is likely to result in the fall of organized civilization. This Amazon clause refers to this as this. We cannot guarantee delivery. Anyway, it goes on and on. But it's fun. The people were referring to it as some kind of a joke and all this stuff. It is no joke. I'll tell you why. Thank you, sir. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about this. I did a seminar in Louisiana, and out of Louisiana, a lady visited us at the seminar who works for the Department of Defense. She works on the military base in Alabama, the big Army base there, in Huntsville. And she works in a biomedical facility. She is a doctor. She's one of the top bioscientist doctors. She calls herself a lab rat. for the Department of Defense. She's been there going on 20 years. She told us that things have changed. She says, a few years ago, just prior to COVID, we were instructed through a memo not to ever, in this department, take the jab or the PCR test. I said, you're in the military. Military's been requiring it. I know under President Trump they gave a lot of saline solution jabs, but they're required to. And she goes, we are required not to. She said the other change is we were all issued sidearms. She said, I had never used a sidearm since basic. She said we were issued and commanded to wear them daily. She goes, I wear a white lab coat. I'm locked into a building behind a big fence with the best security in the entire world. Why do I have to carry a sidearm in the laboratories? And she questioned it. And they said, you must carry a sidearm and you must go to the range at least once a week and keep up on your training. She hadn't had to do that in decades, a couple of decades. And then they started noticing people dressed in plain clothes, like you and I are, walking the hallways of the building, which was highly unusual for decades. And she started questioning them. And she was told that they are here, that these are non-humans. She says they just look like a civilian walking her home. She says if she was instructed that if she walks past one and it suddenly turns and looks at her and growls, to shoot it dead. As long as it acts normal, just walk on past. Huh? No, the movies are due process. Yeah, the movies are due process. They're training you for what's coming. The military is training for what's coming. Understand that. Go to the CDC's website, it's there. Go to a lot of these different websites, it's there. Now, because we're speaking out about it, they're starting to kind of deny, twist it, make it a joke, doing all kinds of things about it. You understand they have to give notice. Good and evil has always had to give notice. They've always, CIA created Hollywood. They've always had to give notice of what's coming, what they're doing, what they did in the past. They give notice. And that's movies. Most movies made today are due process movies. They're giving you due process. They're telling you what's coming. Now that sounds crazy. Sounds stupid. Sounds unbelievable. I get it. I have an autistic son, and he designed video games. He's super intelligent. You can't hardly talk to him. You don't want to go in his house because if you move something accidentally, well, it's out of place and a little fit occurs. So sometimes there's a big fit. He's in his late 20s, but he's designed video games. Some of those video games he's sold to big companies, and some of those he's just got on the App Store And he makes 99 cents every time somebody downloads it. And he makes pretty good money. But when I go to see him, he runs up to me and he goes, Dada, Dada, Dada. When I talk to him on text, it's one word text for him trying to communicate. If I ask him something critical, like what is your address? Where do you live? He can't do it. And he lives in his own apartment right next to his mother. But it's his own apartment. He's smart, he can pass tests, got his driver's license, he drives his own car,